The new album's out today. Um,
Yes.
and I have to say, it's very impressive. It's like you put your whole, I don't know, you put everything into this album because some of the tracks and the lyrics, they come across very personal, and the love
Yeah.
put into them. It's quite. I mean, explain the album to me if you don't mind.
Yeah. And, you're spot on actually because with this album in particular, I kind of thought I'd go a little bit more deeper, a little
Yeah,
bit more vulnerable.
yeah,
And I think Cole, my thing is that I'm not very good at expressing myself, feelings wise, etc. So this was a real good outlet to kind of go right. I'm just going to put everything down on this and see, and just see how it kind of comes together.
yeah.
So you're spot on. It's personal. I was just trying to kind of get a little bit more expressive, regarding that love and relationships and friendships and spirituality. I just wanted to get a bit deeper, a little bit more vulnerable, and I'm glad that's kind of come across with the album as well, because it's exactly what's meant it to be.
Mm. Yeah, because I think I mentioned before that I was driving along, and when I got to track 11, it gave me goosebumps.
Right,
It's just
cool.
impressive, an impressive track. I mean, everything on the album is great. I know that
Thank
it's
you.
Radio 2's album of the week. Is that for next week?
Yeah, that's this week and next
Sorry.
week. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they've been really all over. They've been a great supporter of me. It's been great, and they've been saying some really nice things. Exactly kind of what you're saying. They've been saying some really nice and complimentary things, this week. It's been wonderful to have them kind of really supporting me, and this new material.
And when did you write the album? Was it last year, or when was it sort of, when did you sort
Yeah.
of record it as well?
So yeah, it was this year, early this year. I kind of finished. It was last year and in the year before as well. So it's taken a little bit of time
Mm,
actually.
mm.
I was writing with Peter Vitesi, Troy Miller, and so we kind of making sure the songs were right. The sentiments were right. And also it's important to me as well that not just to kind of write good songs, but to be able to express them live
Yeah.
properly, and to kind of get the whole kind of ethos of the and the sentiments of the songs across in a live experience.
Mm.
So yeah, so I was quite picky. I
Yeah.
was quite, I was quite very particular, about the songs. Yeah,
But, but how did you find the time to write them though? Because you're obviously a busy man. I mean, obviously before lockdown, you're a very busy man. But you
yeah.
must, I don't know, you must run on some sort of energy because to do what you do, on the stage and then to do the recording. How did you find the time to even write the music and might record it?
Mate, it's a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a nightmare because the thing is, like I said, there's so many different aspects of it. I've got to kind of keep fit. So I've got to go to the gym. I've got to train. I've got to eat properly, all that kind of stuff. And then, I'd kind of set off and kind of get to the studio around kind of 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, and work up until about 4:30. And then I would leave the studio, get to work for about 4:30, grab something to eat quickly, because I'd be starving, and then a vocal warm up for 6:15, and then obviously the show would start. Get changed, all that kind of paint on my face, all that stuff, and then finish the theatre show for about 10:15 at night. So that would be my day. That would be the week, literally.
It's impressive. I mean, I
Yeah,
would be knackered after say an hour of
yeah,
that.
mate.
But
There's times sometimes on the Sunday after the show, I would be absolutely knackered. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, I can't do another week like this again. And then I same thing would kick off again. So it's just a mixture of passion and drive and ambition and
yeah,
and just enjoying what I do. Because I'm lucky, man. I'm lucky to do what I do.
yeah,
People
yeah,
give their right leg to do what I'm doing.
yeah.
So I don't take it for granted.
Because you're fortunate, you've got two elements. You've obviously got the stage and the music. If
Yeah.
I mean, the album's going to do well. It will do well. Do you think you might want to concentrate more on the music side of once the album takes? Well, it will
Yeah.
take off. We know that. But do you think you might want to sort of step back from the stage, or is that something you want to do in tandem going forward still? Did you catch that?
the stage.
Yeah. Do you think you would just
You
you
know,
would just
I
think?
like, you know, I love doing theatre. Do you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I love acting and I love doing it. You know, I love doing all that stuff.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I mean, I would like to. I mean, because sometimes, you know, the scales will be, you know, slightly unbalanced after a while. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then, you know, then I'll have no choice but to kind of concentrate on one or the other. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to really explore the music, really get deep in it. You know, really do loads of touring and, you know, and really kind of do that because, you know, I want to push it. I want people to hear the music. You
Mm,
know, so yeah, I would like that. But you know, but I never look too far ahead. If the scales slightly become a bit unbalanced and I have to do that, then that's what I'll do.
mm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, my passion for music and just performing is so much that I just kind of just want to do it all anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do want to concentrate a bit more on the music. Would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, where did your passion come from for the music then? Is it from your mum or your dad or both or what?
A, a bit of both actually. My mum was a singer back in the day.
Mm,
And so she'd kind of sing the kind of lovers rock thing because my parents, you know, my heritage is a Jamaican
yeah.
background. So, you know, so she'd sing like this reggae kind of thing. And then my dad he used to play out and, you know, he was a DJ. So
Okay.
he had the vast collection of music, vast collection. So I would listen to, so I was exposed to music like, you know, Phil Collins to David Bowie to from Luther Vandross to Marvin Gaye, Bob Marley, you name it, the Beatles, I was exposed to it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was quite lucky in that sense. And so music was always in the household. Since I can remember, I've always sung. I've
Yeah.
never really, that's my real main passion. I've been involved in other things, activities and everything else,
Yeah.
but music's always been my passion, you know? So that's where it came from. It came from them really.
And with the album, I know on some of the, well, most all the tracks, I think that you've got the gospel singers in the background, especially when it starts off with River, the
Yeah,
first song. Is that something
yeah.
you insisted on having on the album? You know, the gospel singers because they are standouts. Apart from yourself, obviously, but they are standout singers. I mean,
Yeah.
who are they anyway? What sort of gospel group are they?
They did this. I would say just, but there's some amazing singers, and you know something that they do. You know, they're just amazing singers. So it's not like gospel singers per se,
Okay. Okay.
but it's just singers that can actually do the thing. But yeah, it was in a way because that's where the songs lent to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And to kind of put that kind of spiritual spin to it as well.
Mm.
It kind of I thought that would be apt to do that, but also just to kind of lift up the songs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To make them sound iconic and big.
Yeah.
You know, and to kind of get into the vibe of what I'm trying to express musically. You know what I mean? I think it was an essential part, you know?
Yeah, and with the with a couple of the tracks, I think the track, I think it was Soldier. I'm not sure, it might have been Soldier. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
It's well, yeah. Talk me through Soldier because for me, I was singing along to
yeah,
it when I was driving. You know, and you talk me through Soldier. What's it
yeah.
mean to you? Go on.
Soldier is basically just saying, you know, when your good friends are in need, do you know what I mean? And you know, you're there and you're basically saying, listen, you're not going to go through this by yourself. Talk to me, tell me what the situation is.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And together we can deal with this. Do you know what I mean? You know, I will fight your battles with you side by side. You know why? Because when I was going through madness, when I was going through hardships, you were there for me.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, so I'm going to be there for you. And so don't think and don't feel that you can,
mm,
you have to go through this situation alone. And I think a lot of the time as men, we find that we bottle in our emotions, we bottle in our feelings, we bottle in everything. We don't feel like, I can deal with this. I can deal with this situation.
yeah,
It's all right. I don't need no help. When
yeah,
in essence, you know what, actually, you know what I mean? I've got some mates that will fight and die for me, man. You know what I mean? Whatever situation.
yeah.
And it's nice to know that you're not alone. You're not an island. You know, so that's what that song's about.
So
You know?
is it maybe aimed at men who have got that not chauvinistic, but that pride and that they don't want to open up? So when they listen to some of the tracks, it's about sending that message to them, saying you can talk to anybody.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said earlier, it's hard. I find it hard to to express my feelings. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
hard to kind of go, I'm feeling like this,
mm,
because it's not seen as being masculine or what I mean, whatever. And I'm kind of from, especially my background. I'm a martial artist. I've boxed and I
yeah,
kickbox and I've done, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Gracie jiu-jitsu. Got black belt in that, karate, etc. So that's not part of the social kind of norm to kind of go, well, you know, this is what I'm feeling, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, so I find that difficult.
Yeah.
I find that difficult to do. So, you know, so I thought, well, let me just put that down.
Yeah.
Let me, you know, and I was a part of a charity as well back in the day, just to kind of, you know, just to, you know, I was encouraging. It was the 25, was it 25 push-up challenge? It was back in the day. I did that a few years ago, and it was basically just like ex-soldiers that kind of was going through postnatal, what do you call it?
PTSD. I'm ex-military. I'm an ex-soldier myself.
Yes, so. Right. So you know what I'm talking about, and you know, and it really touched me. It really got to me, and I just thought, you know what? It's true. You know, we've got these these veterans that have gone out there, fought for us, but they can't talk about their situation, talk about what they went through, and it really got to me. You know what I mean? And I thought, and that was kind of part and parcel as well. That it does, you know, some of the hardest men I know, some of the toughest guys I know, just kind of go, you know what? Listen, I've got you. I love you, man. It's all good. And it's almost like it does something to you as a man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
it does.
You know, so yeah.
Because what you see,
know that, man. Yeah.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I mean, you'll get to know a bit more about me in the future, I hope. But
Definitely.
But you see somebody that you don't know what's going on inside there, do you? You see
exactly.
the frontage and the masculinity and the physique, or you know, the guys down the pub, whatever. But you don't see what's going on in there. You know.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I think it's important. You know, so as much as this album is about love and it's about relationships, spirituality, it's also touching on that as well. Do you know what I mean? That kind of that masculinity side of things. You know what I mean? Like say, listen, it's all good. I've got you, mate. Don't worry.
I've got to ask you. I mean, I've got to ask you a quick question before I forget. What's your warm up like? Because I know you do your vocal warm up for when you're on the stage, but when you do your warm up for the music, is it very similar? Or have you got some sort of different method you use?
I do more or less the same thing.
Okay.
But I keep going. I kind of, it's not just like a 15-minute warm up. I kind of keep going for at least before I go on stage for an hour. You know, and I do stupid things like, you know, I mean, vocal warm ups, man. Carl, if you know vocal warm ups, they're the most bizarre, stupid things. And sometimes I'm in my dressing room or, you know, I'm at a venue and I don't want to go to, you know, I don't want to make too much of a loud noise. People, what the hell is this geezer doing? He sounds like a nutter, but you know, but it's an essential part of what, you know, what I'm doing. So, you know, but I try to kind of keep the voice warm all the time, drinking those, you know, hot teas. You know, and you know, kind of lozenges, sweets, you know, I mean, that kind of thing to kind of keep everything nice. But the main thing is 8 hours sleep, definitely. And plenty of water, and not to eat too late. You know, so they're the main things, because you know, if you eat too late, then acid reflux and the voice and whatever and da da da. So it's a lot of these things that it's a whole body maintenance when it comes to singing. It's not just about going up there and singing. It's literally a whole body maintenance.
And do you have access? Do you have access to a lot of people that advise you on sort of different techniques to use, or is it just something you've learned over the years?
Things that I've learned over the years. I've picked up all sorts of things, but also I'm always learning. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, occasionally I go on YouTube, quickly check out a technique or whatever, or you know, or the MD at the Lion King. I sit down and I pick his brains regarding vocal stuff. Always something to learn. I remember my first kind of vocal advice was from Shaka Khan, right? And I was like, because that was the first show I did. Mama Wanna Sing. I know. And I said, Shaka, and I was, you know, what tips do you have to keep your voice in good shape? And I was what, 18 at the time. And she said, she goes, listen, 8 hours sleep and plenty of water. And I was like, okay, cool. And I've lived by that mantra ever since. Really? 8 hours sleep and plenty of water. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. A quick question. I mean, do you wish you'd probably gone into acting and music earlier? Because I know you obviously it's well known that about Idris Elba, you know, he advised you to do. You know, we don't have to touch on that. But do you wish you'd done it beforehand? You know, before somebody like him had told you had a good voice.
You know what? I was always doing bits and pieces. But when I look back, you know, because I was always in the studio and I was doing little bits and pieces, gigs wise here and there, but I didn't think it was anything like I was in a jazz band, you know, like a rock, like a funk band.
Okay.
But I never thought it was like a viable option. Do you know what I mean? Until it's kind of said, listen, Shaun, you should do this, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think I would have been quite ready.
Okay.
I think sometimes it's maturity and your talent kind of meet at a peak, and then that's what sets the spark off.
Yeah.
You know, I was singing, and I was always singing, but I'm not sure mentally or maturity wise I was ready for it.
Okay.
You know, because there's a difference between just getting up on stage and singing, and then actually being in the industry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And knowing how to perform and how to deal with people around you, etc. You know what I mean? So that's a thing. A lot of people want to sing and be singers, but it's a different ball game. It's a completely different ball game when you actually get into the industry.
Yeah, but with you obviously being on the stage as well, a couple of times a day or once a day at least, you know, in say The Lion King and Les Mis, that's giving that sort of grounding and that, you know, I guess, grounding into the industry because you're performing all the time. And I've got to ask you a quick one. What's your craziest fan moment you've ever had from, say, Les Mis or from The Lion King?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. I've had some, I wouldn't say crazy, but more endearing actually. You know, I've had people kind of draw portraits of you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I've had, you know, literally portraits, and they come in and framed up and everything, signed. And literally, you know, had meticulous time drawing these pencil pictures of you, of either your character or you yourself. You know, so that's been nice. People buying chocolates and gifts, and you know what I mean, it's been nice, man. It's been really nice. You know, just to think that people kind of take it means that much to them what you're doing on stage. You know? So it has been nice.
And with lockdown, I mean, obviously I've got to touch on this because it's where we all are at the moment. What were you doing when you sort of everything stopped? What was it for you? Were you just told by phone, or were you just in the house? You know, what were you doing when it sort of the Prime Minister said that's it?
I think I found out like the day before.
Okay.
So I was in the theatre, and they said, you know, we're going to go on lockdown. You know, the theatre's going to close tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was literally thinking it was going to be a couple of months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought, you know, the most. Do you know what I mean? I thought, you know, the most 6 weeks. Gosh, and we're still here in July. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, so it's so that's where I was. That's where I was. Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
And I jumped on the train. I was going home early, and I called my wife and said, "I'm coming home."
Yeah, you've been there since.
You're talking about it. Oh, mate, I'm pulling my hair out, man. You know, like you said, I'm chomping at the bit. I just kind of want to do stuff. You know what I mean? Carl, I'm jumping on my bike. I'm riding for hours in the forest. I'm going for long walks. You know, with my wife and my little girl. You know, and I'm just doing things. I mean, it's great because I'm spending time with my little one. Which is wicked. So we're baking cakes now. I've never baked in my life. So we're baking cakes, and you know what I mean? So it's fun in that aspect. You know, I mean, there is blessings out of this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you'll never have that time again. You're the longevity of being with your wife at home. Same with me. I've got a daughter, my wife as well, so it's the same. But you wouldn't change it for anything. But it's trying to get back to normality. But you got to feel for those people in the theatre that have got no work, you know, and it's just those behind the scenes. It's such a shame.
Mate, I tell you, it's, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and it's that same thing. It's just.
And whoosh, I've changed the background, changed the location. Miles, just for people that are watching this, just be aware that I am usually quite professional, but I was out and about, and I did it all. I did it all planned to be in a location where I'm getting free Wi-Fi. That dropped. The network was meant to be higher than it was. That dropped. So I apologise. I was watching this. But Shaun's an amazing guy, and I really appreciate giving me an extra few minutes of your time.
Pleasure.
And I know we sort of, I asked you about, you know, what the industry, about the theatre and how people have been losing their jobs, and you sort of mentioned that you had a friend, and then the signal just went whoosh. Do you want to just...
Right. Yeah, so basically what it is that, you know, we don't know where we lie, where the landscape is. You know, like sometimes you can kind of have something, you know, where, you know, you're going to be working up until such and such, or such, you know, theatres reopen, you know, at this point, but no one has a clue. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's in limbo, you know, and with our industry, you know, it's just everything's just completely stopped. Everything, no income, no nothing. Everything's just done.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I feel for a lot of people out there because they have no idea what's going on. They have no, you know, they have no clue. The landscape is completely hazy, and that's the, you know, to say the least, really. You know, so, you know, we'll see. It's a hard one.
And it's not just a case of people can just go straight back into the theatre. You've got to have the planning before that, the preparation.
That's right.
You know, and the rehearsals. Even though you've done it for many years, but some of the younger ones who've come back, or anyone else new to the theatre, they're going to struggle. And it's going to be.
I mean, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. You know, and also like it's the close proximity of people. You know, I'm sitting down in the chair to get the paint put on my face and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so I'm in close proximity with people. You know, you got the audience members, what they're going to do, 2 seats on, 2 seats off, 2 seats on, 2 seats, you know, is the back row going to be empty? You know, it's all of that. Front of house, it's the crew. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of logistics that go into this, which is, there's a lot that goes into this, man. It's going to be very difficult.
I just want to mention to people who are watching this that when I said earlier about track 11, you remind me. I was quite flustered. I couldn't. We could have, like I said, I was just driving around, and this is quite DIY. People can laugh at me, leave the comment, but as long as they appreciate Shaun is a star. He's such a nice guy. His music is amazing. But yeah, I was quite flustered. So I do know the name of the songs. It's just when you drive around and you've got the sun on your back and it's about 30 degrees in the car. You remind me, it gave me. I mentioned earlier, it gave me goosebumps.
Wow.
Was that one of the first songs you wrote, or was that something that you wrote after? It was just, you know.
Yeah, it was one of the first songs we wrote. I wrote that was Peter Vitesi. Yeah. And that was one of the first songs we wrote. Yeah, you remind me of no one else. It's just that kind of, you know, like when you know that comparison that you can't compare. You know, you remind me of no one else. It's like, you know, you fall in love with somebody, it's whatever, and there's no comparison. You know, it's gone to a completely different level. It's deeper, it's richer, it's broader. It's, you know, it's whole. You know, so it's that thing of there's no comparison to you. You know what I mean? It's just a different thing, and so like I said, it becomes spiritual in its essence. But I do love that song. I do love that song.
That's going to become. You're going to release it as a single, aren't you? I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, definitely.
To certain, my man. No, I hope so. I mean, I'll come knocking on your door. So you better release that. So I just got one last question, man. I can talk to you all day, and I know you've given me enough of your time, and we've got through the technical issue. But if you could describe the album in one word, what would it be? If I could give you my word, I would say it's faultless.
Oh, lovely. Oh, man. I would say reflective. Okay. Yeah, reflective.
And why?
Because it makes you think of all different things, you know, and reflective in a sense as well. It makes you to kind of. I remember someone describing something to me one time is trying to express an unexpressible feeling, you know, and then I think what I've tried to do is kind of, how can I put it? Give words to a feeling that you can't normally express. Do you know what I mean? So, and then in turn, it makes you trying to reflect on all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? Love, relationships, you know, your faith, you know, just everything around you. Kind of, I like to think that it kind of sparks a few thoughts in your mind. So yeah, reflective.
Perfect. Thank you. Hopefully when things goes back to normal, you can tour, you know, and I can come and see you singing it live.
I can't wait, honestly.
It will happen. It will happen, man. It will happen. So
of course.
But no, thank you. So everybody, the album's out today. Buy it. If you don't buy it, stream it. Preference to buy it because obviously that's more money towards the artist. That is.
Yes, please.
You should have a T-shirt saying, "Please buy my album today." Or so.
That's right.
Not the jiu-jitsu one.
You know, I've got great jiu-jitsu.
I mean, he's happy, but
oh boy.
Man, it's been a pleasure, man. Honestly, really has.
Thank you.
But no, thank you for. I knew we'd get there in the end, but no, thank you
Yeah.
for. And lesson learned from me. I'll anyway. I don't know. I need to find a proper place where I can do a recording if we can do it by mobile. But next time I'll be in the house as normal, like I did.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, it's a pleasure, and it's always going to be a pleasure.
Yeah,
You know, so yeah, man.
Okay,
You too, man.
Hopefully I'll see you soon, man. Yeah. All right.
You too.
Nice
Definitely,
one,
Carl.
dude.
Later,
Thank you,
man.
dude.
Peace.
Thank you, man. Nice one.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.